Hey guys, how are you? I'm gonna be recording on my new phone, so we'll see how this video goes. There's something on my lip. Gross. Excuse me. I just ate like a pig. I just ate Wendy's. But so what I'm coming to talk to you guys about is my whole miscarriage story. So if you're following me on Facebook, you know that I had a miscarriage and currently miscarrying. If you saw any of my videos on YouTube, you saw there was two videos on there, basically kind of like confirming that it was a miscarriage. I'm not really sure what the other one was about, but I did not do like a beginning to end, like beginning when I found out about it, and then the miscarriage. And I had some questions in my inbox, so I figured maybe I'll just do a whole video. So, I was on my way to work one day, and I had what I believe was my cycle, and it lasted a little bit longer than normal. And sometimes when I wear sanitary napkins for quite some time, I get a little irritated. So I wanted to go check out and make sure everything was okay. And that was when I found out that I was expecting. I was not far long enough to see anything. They only at that time, which was September 10th, the only thing they saw was like, I think it was the yolk sac and the gestation sac, but there was like no fetal pull or anything. They took my blood to check for the ACG level, and at that time it was 441. So I was indeed pregnant, but we didn't know where the bleeding was coming from because, like I said, I thought I had my period, and it came right on time. So it was like September 2nd. My cycle should have ended by like the 7th. So when it was going to the 8th and 9th and the 10th day, I was like, something is a little off because it never goes past. My cycles are like 5 days. Every 28 days lasts about 5 days. It can trickle into the 6th day, but it's over in that morning. So I found out that I was pregnant. I was sent home. I went back to work. I told them what was going on. I did not work because I was in the hospital from like 9 to 3:30. So there was no point of going to work when I got off at 5. So I went home. I shared the news with my mother and my sister. Like my best friend knew. I didn't tell a whole lot of people, just people that meant something to me. So on the 16th, because the bleeding was still there, and this time it was not heavy, but the color changed, which made me a little nervous. So I went back to get seen. My HCG levels went all the way up. So it's like the pregnancy is there, fetal pole is there. So there's a baby now in my mind. And I was like 5 weeks or so. Everything seemed to be going fine. At that point, the baby's heart rate was a 94. And I was told that that was good as long as it's between like 90 and 100. It was good. So everything was good. My next appointment was the 23rd. And at that point, well, the 21st, because the 23rd wasn't actually an appointment. The 21st, I was involved in like an accident. I was on the city bus. The driver made a really harsh stop, which flew me out of my seat. I'm badly bruised on my thigh, which I still have. And I was taken to the emergency room. They checked. They wanted to do an X-ray, but once I told the technician that I was pregnant and that I was like 5 weeks or so, they did not recommend me moving forward with an X-ray. So we did not do an X-ray. They did an ultrasound to check on the baby, and it seemed like everything was okay, but they wanted me to follow up with my OBGYN, which is why I had the appointment on the 23rd. So on the 23rd, I went to go get seen. The ultrasound tech gave me a picture of the ultrasound. The baby's heart rate at that point was 141, so we thought everything was okay. Seemed like everything was okay. Meanwhile, I was still bleeding after the accident. My bleeding picked up some, so I was a bit more nervous, but the ultrasound gave me some reassurance that everything was okay. And I wasn't due to come back until I think it was the 22nd of October. Yeah, 22nd of October. But on the early morning of the 15th, well, like I woke up one morning. I think it was like maybe like the 12th or the 13th, with like not being able to breathe out of one nostril. Felt like I was getting a cold. And I had read that pregnant women are more susceptible of getting colds. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's because of something with our immune systems. I'm not sure. So, I was looking over my list of medications that I was allowed to take during my pregnancy. And I really didn't want to take anything because I just felt like I was just not far along enough to do anything. Well, it was like 1 in the morning on the 15th. I was due to go to work that day. And I couldn't, I had so much pain. It felt like a bear hug from like right under your breast, like right under my boobs, right onto my back. It was like somebody was just squeezing me. And for whatever reason, I connected it to my cold. I thought I was connected to my cold. And I was just like, I texted my boss. I was like, there's no way I can come into work. Like no way. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't do anything. So I forced myself to take the Tylenol. I made sure that the milligrams is what was on my sheet that was provided by my doctor's office. And it went away. I was able to lay down. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, which is the time I would need to get up to get ready for work. And I was able to go to sleep. I woke up. I had my same bleeding from what we found out was my subchorionic hematoma. The color was like, if you have it or you're thinking you may have it, mine was 3 centimeters. And the color kind of varied from like a light brown tea stain to like maybe a mauve color. It wasn't like red or anything like that. So like I said, I woke up, I had that same color discharge or bleeding. Nothing out of the ordinary until that evening came. And I'm watching TV. I'm wearing a sanitary napkin. I'm watching TV. And all of a sudden, I felt like this spill feeling. It's TMI, I'm sorry. But it's like like, when you're on your cycle and you laugh too hard or you sneeze, it was like a really weird feeling. A feeling enough for me to get up and go to the bathroom. So I get up and I go to the bathroom and I'm hysterical. It's red blood, like fresh red blood. And there was like a clot with it. Wasn't big, but I didn't clot during my hematoma. Besides like once, which was weeks ago, but nothing like that. So I'm putting pieces together. So the horrific pain that I had and now this, it's like I knew what it was. And I was hysterical. I had my brother rush me to the emergency room. I let them know at check-in that I think I'm miscarrying before I can even go to the seating area. I was called to the back. They brought me to the room and they wanted to do blood, but the tech really didn't. She was having a hard time trying to get it. So they just took me to the to get an ultrasound, and I'm talking to the tech. I know she can't tell me anything, but I'm talking to her to help ease me. So if you know me or not, when I'm nervous about something, I'm very talkative. I'm trying to channel my thoughts to something else. That's what I'm doing. So she's talking to me. She's really nice. We'll go back to my room. And then when the nurse finally comes back and she says, you don't have to do you don't have to do the blood work. That was like another confirmation of a miscarriage, because why would you not want to check my HCG level? Because the ultrasound has already answered that. So I put two and two together. So the doctor comes in and she confirms that it was a miscarriage, that the baby's there, but there's no heartbeat anymore. Why she's telling me and explaining to me what doctors do, I knew already. So I'm looking at her and I'm listening to her, but I'm really not wanting to listen to her give me the information that she's giving me, which is like, it's very common. It's probably more common than we think it is, because a lot of women are not reporting it, or not reporting it, but are miscarrying before, not even realizing that they were pregnant, just thinking it's a really heavy period. All those things that are true, but you're really not wanting to hear at the moment. I just didn't want to hear that I'm now one of four at that time. You just told me my baby's no longer alive, and now you want me to hear what you're saying. Like, I took from it what she was giving to me, but it wasn't something that I was just wanting to hear. And we left. I went home. Okay. So I brought my baby bag. I had like a piece of clothing that my sister purchased and I purchased. Anyway, so that was the 15th. On the 17th, I went and confirmed with my OBGYN that, it is what it was. And we decided to do it naturally. I did not realize how hard it would be. Not pain-wise, because I haven't really been in a lot of pain. I haven't been like bleeding from like stories from what I've seen. But it's just hard emotionally every time you go to the restroom and wipe. Like, you know what you're doing. You know what you're seeing. So it's like every day you're reminded that you miscarried. Not to say that it's easier for women who's used the other options, like taking the pill and releasing it or doing the DNC. There's no easier method as far as mentally is concerned. But for me personally, I think if I would have had used the other option, like the surgery option, got it over with, then my grieving process would have been maybe a bit faster. But because I'm still currently miscarrying every time, I'm still wearing a sanitary napkin. I just saw my OBGYN not too long ago, and there's still, there's still blood at the cervix, there's still tissue there. So it's like I'm still in the process, and I have great days, believe me. Um, there are days where I was guilty. I felt guilty laughing. I felt guilty being myself, being playful. But, I prayed about this, and I know that because I really believed at one point that I couldn't have children, I couldn't get pregnant. So I know that I can. I know that God will bless me and bless us with children. So I know that it will happen. In my heart, I feel like the accident that I had aided to my miscarriage. I mean, my doctor was telling me that I was days behind. So like when I was showing up 6 weeks and so days, it should have been 7 weeks. Like, and she was trying to explain to me that made sense to her, that when the egg and the sperm met, there was maybe a genetic chromosomal abnormality or some type of issue that the pregnancy wouldn't have been viable. I'm not going to say that she's wrong. She's a doctor. I am not. I just, something in me. And I even felt guilty when I fell to the ground. Split second, but I did, because I had been trying so hard to protect my body when I found out that I was pregnant. Like, I would hold my breath when I would walk past people who were smoking. I just made sure that I didn't put myself in situations or anything like that. I made sure I was taking my prenatal vitamins every day. I made sure I stopped drinking sodas and coffees. Like, I stopped all of that. So I tried so hard. And so when I had that accident and I felt, I was mad at myself, thinking, why didn't I just hold on to something? Why did I sit in that particular seat when I knew that there was nothing there in front? Like, I was thinking those things, but I'm so better now. But I wanted to share that with you guys. So who's ever watching my story, that you might feel encouraged to want to share your story to someone who might think that they're going through this alone, because it is common. It does happen a lot. Doesn't mean if this is your first baby that you've miscarried, does not mean that you're going to miscarry again. This was my first. So we will get our rainbow babies. I believe it was, I miscarried at 7 weeks and 6 days. Just, there's no way you know the gender, but I truly believed it was a boy. I felt in my heart it was a boy, but I don't know for sure. But we are praying and we're hopeful and we're grateful that we had that experience for as little as that we did, and that we're planning on trying again. But I wanted to share that with you all because I know that some were asking me questions, or what were your symptoms? Right now, most of the pregnancy is gone. Like I said, I still have some bleeding at the tip or the top of my cervix that needs to be released, so that's what I'm doing. But other than that, I feel fine. I feel good. I'm just preparing my body for my next pregnancy. But yeah, this video is like 20 minutes long, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts or well wishes, you can put them down below and I'll make sure I read them all. And if it is a question, I'll make sure I respond as quickly as possible. You guys have a blessed day.